Welcome into Pay Dirt Sports. Back in the studio today. We are missing a member of the team, but as always, the show must go on. We're not skipping a beat here on Pay Dirt Sports. So much happened in college football. We've got a lot of NFL news. We've got some interesting questions to bring up later that might not be related to sports. Who knows? This could be a crazy episode.
Who knows? Might go
Who
off the
knows?
rails. Will's not here to
Um,
bring us back in.
yeah, so we're going. I mean, off the grid. This is Pay Dirt off the grid tonight. Anything could happen. No telling what is going to go on. Me and Seth are going to start talking football and see where that takes us.
Yeah, that usually leads us right back to where we started, more football. But that's what we love here. This is ball talk only. Like, do not even think about coming here if you're not ready to talk ball. So let's go. So
if you're ready to talk ball, turn up the volume. Let's get into it.
There's no better ball talk right now than the Tennessee Volunteers.
Volunteers, that's right, baby. Golly, am I excited. 40-13 in Baton Rouge. How often do the Tigers get whooped in Death Valley? That doesn't happen.
Not much. Like, you take that back as long as you can think, and they haven't gotten worked like that at home very much. Very impressive. LSU kind of brought it on themselves a little bit as well, but man, just pouring it on, more steam down there in Baton Rouge. Vol Nation just showing out, just being loud and proud and just all around. Awesome to see. Home state repping the Vols. And then it's perfect. Like, it's what you dream of as a college football fan. You go on the road and just slobber knock LSU. You just knock them around. You just dominate. And then you come on home to the friendly confines of Neyland Stadium with 1 million people in that stadium. Like, what? I don't know what their official count is, but it's like
103,000 is what is the cap. But I mean, that place is going to be so jam-packed full with number 3 Alabama coming to town, ready to get their ass whooped by the boys in orange. It is going to be insane.
It will be off the chains. That's what you don't get many like this one. You don't get many games like this one where it's on. Like, this is a serious national game, and it's Tennessee and it's Bama and it's at home, and it doesn't matter that, like, I was saying the same thing a couple weeks ago for the Hogs, and we didn't quite have the same buildup. That's why the Texas A&M win was so frustrating. Is because, like, oh, we're about to have that moment, but you got it. You earned the moment by beating a bunch of good teams. Probably haven't faced anyone truly great yet, but that doesn't. So nobody has. Like, there's literally a couple teams people would even consider as like upper tier, like actually great teams.
Right.
And really, none of them have even faced any great teams. So this is one of the first true collisions of the year of, like, okay,
these are two potential national championship contenders.
Yeah.
Let's see who's going to come out on top. One man is going to be victorious.
And it's the SEC on CBS. It's in Neyland. It's the premier game in the country. Game day's there. SEC Nation's there. Everybody's there. Late kick. Josh Pate, shout out. He's there.
It's going to be crazy. But I mean, like you were saying, you couldn't draw it up any better down in LSU. They fumble the opening kickoff. And then really from that point, the Vols just started going. I mean, LSU did everything wrong, and Tennessee seemed to do everything right. Hendon Hooker is continuing his Heisman campaign. He shot up to, I think, number 4 in the odds as a favorite. So
a win this week makes him a favorite. Like, a win this week would make him the Heisman favorite.
This will be his Heisman moment if he throws for like 3 touchdowns and 350 yards against Alabama, which we've seen. Hey, this year they've been tested and had some close battles this year against 2 teams in Texas, both A&M and UT Austin. Gave them a battle, and it's time for another UT to give them a serious battle.
There we go. A&M, we can go ahead and kind of jump since we're rolling into a little Alabama. Them and A&M, really just one of those crazy SEC games. Like, the buildup for that game has been so long. And even it should have been Bama's favored by 24. But really, if you're smart, and I wasn't smart, I assumed Bama would kill them. Even with their backup quarterback, I was like, yeah, they'll beat them, because I don't think very highly of Texas A&M. I'll say it as a football team. I've recently come to terms with my friend Aggie Reese. I felt
Aggie
like
Reese.
there was a little animosity between us, but we've recently squashed the beef. All love, but still, A&M has still yet to prove a lot on the field for me. Um, anyway, and but you should have seen the signs coming. It's like every sign points to, Saban at home versus Jimbo, who talked all that trash in the offseason.
Yeah.
We're going to whoop them. We're going to whoop them. And then it just didn't come to fruition. Somehow or another, they hang around, and then they have a chance to win on
Yeah,
the final play of
a
the game.
great chance to win the game, and they couldn't close the deal. It's kind of one
Yeah.
of those unfortunate moments where Saban's still daddy, Jimbo.
Yep.
They're still remember who got you to where you were. The big man down south.
Yeah. And pretty embarrassing play call at the end there from old Jimbo. Really could have. I mean, it's kind of tough because he did get he got his team, with a chance to beat Bama. That's saying something.
Yeah.
But that's when a great coach has got to pop out and call a great play.
Bust out the Philly special or something crazy like that.
Call something don't call something so ineffective as that. And even if he had completed the pass, how frustrating would that have been if you complete a pass on, on a game winning play from the 1.5 and you don't even score a touchdown, because you go out of bounds, not because you even get stopped or anything. You just went out of bounds.
Yeah, you went out of bounds.
It's almost impossible. It's he threw a 30-yard pass for a half yard, and it was out of bounds. Just bad. Come on. But shout out to them. Played well enough to get there. But if you don't come home with dub, it don't matter really. It don't matter really. Titans are kind of teaching that. We're kind of going to circle back to all these things probably throughout the show, but winning is winning. There is something so much to be said about finding a way to win. NFL, it looks different because parity's a little bit higher between the teams. That is kind of the goal of the NFL, is to have a lot of equitable teams. But in college football, it's still it's hard to win. It's hard to win the SC West. That's why it's such a testament to Tennessee. They've had several games they could have lost. Kind of, not really. Definitely Pitt. They could have lost
Pitt
that one.
Certainly could have lost. Yeah.
But see how that changes. And that's what we talk about. I almost talk about ad nauseum in the season and before the season is see how those pivotal games in week 3 and week 4 can really shoot you off and really define your season.
Yeah, once you get that, that helps build that steam going. And once you figure yourself out around week 6, week 7, you got an offensive juggernaut that is steaming themselves all the way to the SEC championship.
Yeah, exactly. But see, what happens if Tennessee loses that game at Pitt in overtime, which they could have lost? It's an overtime. It's really a coin flip at that point. So they lose that game. Then it's oh, crap. Then you go in with way less confidence against Florida. You might not, you never know. Teams are so unsusceptible or so susceptible to momentum shifts and momentum swings as a full team. And that's what makes the truly great coaches great is you can bounce back from, I think bouncing back from a loss is where you really define great coaches, where it's you don't let a loss linger. You don't let a loss affect you. But building that steam early, like you said, just a train coming now. You let them win one and they're hot,
Yeah.
And their offense is just, you got a good offensive system and you got a great guy running it in Hooker. And that's just so effective. It's so hard to stop when you have a good scheme.
With how good he is on the deep ball too. That's his best ability is to be able to put the touch on the deep ball, and that's all you need in Tennessee's offense.
And he opens up the top, man. It's so fun. It's fun to watch. I don't probably due to just kind of working some Saturdays and traveling and whatnot, haven't sat down and watched quite as much Tennessee as I probably would have liked, but they're exciting team to watch. Their offense is balling. Defense is what it is, but
it's good enough as of right now.
Yeah, and it's when you score that much and you're so fast in scoring like they are, it's really hard. You're putting a lot of possessions on the defense. They're gonna look worse in general because they're tested a lot more. They're out there for a lot more snaps. They're out there more like I don't know. It's a different offense that you're running. So your defense, like especially your statistics and stuff, are going to be inflated a little bit on defense.
Certainly.
But anyway, keep it going. Bryce Young could give him problems. I'm assuming he's going to play this
Probably.
week.
I mean, I doubt that if he can play, he's going to play. The only way he's not going to play is if he's seriously injured and he's not going to be able to get out on that field. But I mean, kind of like you were talking about on the defense, while, yeah, our numbers haven't been that great. It is because of a lot of those possessions, but you have guys like Byron Young and Jeremy Banks who make big plays in big time moments. And all you need to get is a couple of stops. All you need is those 2 or 3 big plays, forcing a turnover, getting a big sack on third down. A couple of those big swing plays when you have an offense like Tennessee, I mean, that wins the game right there for you. So we don't need the defense to hold teams to 14 points. 24 points is fine in most occasions. So screw it.
Yeah. I was thinking that exact thing today about the big plays. You talked about big plays there. Big play defense, at least. And I think it's an interesting kind of thing about defense is you can almost design your defense to make big plays. And so you might give up, even chunks at a time. You might look susceptible. You might give up a drive that looks like, wow, we couldn't stop anybody. But all you need, if you have a good offense, is a few of those big game-changing plays. Yeah, like you said, a big sack when it's really important from a good player, or a big interception, or a fumble. Like if you play that style of defense, all it takes is a few moments like that where your good players make plays like that. That is why you have a good roster. That's why you have talent on your roster. So the talent can go out there and make special plays. And you just got to put them in a position to do that. And there are different defensive schemes that kind of, lean towards different methods of kind of playing defense in general. And I think that I was kind of thinking about the Titans defense and how I don't necessarily think they're a great defense right now, but they're super opportunistic and they make special plays. I mean, like guys like Jeffrey Simmons and Denico Autry are just like making critical, like key sacks, like big time moments.
Strip sacks.
Yeah.
Tart with the insane interception and then game-saving pass deflection this past week as well. It's crazy.
Yeah. So, when you play that style, but you got to make those plays happen. Like if you play that style of defense, you got to make those things happen or you will be toasted. Like I take Arkansas, for example, they play a very risky kind of that's kind of the Barry Odom defense to we're going to give up some things, but we're also going to hopefully force you into some turnovers, force you into something. And our defense drops, 4 balls that could have been interceptions, probably pretty good plays on most of them, but get your hands on 4 balls.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you're playing that style of defense where you're already giving up so much, if you miss the opportunities to make those plays, then you are cooked. Yeah, they're cooked. Because they're probably going to beat you on the next play again. Like they've been consistently being on your plays. That's how you get back is make one big play that kind of counteracts, 5 or 6 positive plays. But when you miss those chances, you do get cooked. And that's always a possibility. It's always a possibility. So, at the end of the day, I hate that phrase. I think that phrase gets weird. At the end of the day, it's a line of scrimmage game.
Yeah.
Sometimes, it's not always, it's not just who has the direct advantage. Like there's ways to scheme a lot better to overcome. If you have a huge disadvantage, you probably are toast. Like if it's just so dominant where it's like, okay, we literally can't run our offense. But, there are ways, and Josh Heupel does a good job of scheming the defense into, negating those advantages because Alabama's going to should win in the trenches versus everybody, literally.
Yep.
That's how they've been so good for so long. It's like every game they go to, they have the better offensive and defensive lines. That gives them the ultimate advantage in every game that they go into. So if you can kind of mitigate where they have those advantages, it's anything certainly is possible. With Nealon rocking on the river,
it's going to be crazy, man. It is going to be wild.
Put it out there. What happens? Okay, so I I'm a big fan of getting ahead of myself. So like Tennessee wins Saturday. Like what does that even look like in Knoxville?
I mean, it's going to be the first win since I believe 2004. So that is 18 years straight of losing to Alabama, which is pretty crazy if you think about it, considering how close that rivalry used to be, how big it was in the 90s, um, late 80s, and with Johnny Majors as well. Going back to the Bear Bryant days, I mean, it had been such a big rivalry for so long to have it kind of die out these past 18 years is crazy. So if Tennessee gets the opportunity to smoke those cigars at the end of this game, I do not envy the police officers in Knox County. They are going to have a lot of trouble to deal with. It is going to be rowdy out there. Things are going to be on
It
fire.
will it will be a riot. Like
Yeah,
it
it
will.
literally will be a riot. Like goalposts are coming down. There's a good chance that field gets stormed and the goalposts torn down. I mean, it is going to be crazy. When you have that many people in a stadium that serves beer, it's going to be insane with how passionate this fan base is and how long and painful it's been for the Tennessee
Yeah,
fan.
they got a lot of energy stored up to beat Bama. They've taken a lot of beatdowns through the years. I'm on the similar end of a long losing streak to Bama, and it sucks the life out of like even like playing them is almost just like
It's like a guarantee. It used to be. This is the first year in a while. It's not a guaranteed
yeah,
loss.
not a guaranteed loss. Which hey, that's at least something. That's a definite
Step in the right
movement.
direction.
Yeah, this is about, and that's the crazy thing is Tennessee's still like what a 7-point underdog, and this is they're a top 6 team in the country playing at home, and it's still like, and they're still on
Still
like
seven point
that's
underdog.
the
Yeah.
best chance they've had, and in reality, like yeah, they're Tennessee's had some pretty good teams over the years, but like they've won 18 straight years, and like they've been the better team about 18 straight years. And
Yeah.
like serious,
It's not like there's been a game stolen or something crazy
yeah,
happened. Alabama
yeah,
has just outright beat Tennessee 18 years in a row.
yeah, and yeah, like similar end of that as well. Like I've um, felt that about as close as anyone could feel it. But it's not, Arkansas Alabama is not quite the rivalry that Tennessee Bama proud rivalry.
Yeah.
And people now it still is a big rivalry. It just has been doled down because it's been so one sided.
Yeah, people, both sides get fired up for this game. Alabama likes to beat that. They are very happily beating
Well,
down on
there
Tennessee.
is a reason Tennessee's never like slipped up on Bama too. You know what I mean? It's like, even when Tennessee's down, it's like we're getting up for Tennessee. Like,
Yeah,
it's like we're getting up for him. That game with Jalen Hurd down there in Tuscaloosa was pretty close.
it was.
That was probably the closest I can remember one. I remember the Mount Cody block. That was funny. I mean, not really funny, but well, kind of. I mean, it was
It was
funny
pretty. Yeah,
it was funny
it was pretty
at the
fun.
time. It'd be nice if like it hadn't happened and the streak wouldn't quite be 18, but and let's see. But other than that, I mean, I haven't. I'd have to really go back in the memory bank, but
Yeah,
can't think of too many that were like nail biters either.
there was one. I mean, that year with Garantano, in the fourth quarter, we were about to punch it in to cut it to 8 in the fourth quarter. But then Garantano audibles, tries to go over the top, ball gets punched out. They scoop and score 99 yards, and the game is basically over at that point. So that, I mean, that game, the score wasn't close, but the game was close up until that point.
Well, it'll be a good chance to. I mean, at least it'll be awesome. And I know I'm saying this from an outsider's perspective. I like Tennessee. I side with Tennessee. It makes me proud to see Tennessee repped well across all sports. But it would be really nice for me personally to just see like a Rock and Nealon in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, let's let this thing rip. Whoever comes out on top, so be it. But man, by God, we're gonna leave everything out there. Like we are coming, and we may not end up on top, but you're gonna feel us. You're gonna feel us. So.
Oh yeah. I think it's going to be one of those moments where it's third down in the fourth quarter, one score game, and Nealon is getting so loud the center can't quite grab onto the ball because it's literally shaking on the ground. I mean, you hear insane stories from quarterbacks who have played in Nealon that were playing on the opposing team, it's almost war stories out there, hearing some of the craziness, what happens down on that field when it really gets rocking on third downs and in close games. So everybody, I mean, this is the biggest game, and I mean, it feels like about 18 years or 15 years for Tennessee.
Oh, it's the biggest. I was saying that today. I mean, it's the
We
biggest game
played
of
in the
my
SEC championship
of
in 2007.
yeah.
This is the
And
first
somehow
game.
it feels even bigger because it's on campus and it's Bama on campus,
Yeah.
and it's a long time that we've lost to Bama, and we got a shot. We got a team that can compete with Bama. I think it's like just a statement game. It's like, no, we got a team that belongs on the field with Alabama.
Right.
And so, I mean, that's just it's all just a testament to Saban and like what he's been able to build. Blah blah. It's gross. It's just gross. Like I respect Saban so much, but I'm as a potential, like as someone who wants to coach one day, I respect him infinitely, like what he's been able to do. But as a fan of a team in the SEC West, it makes me sick. Like it makes me
Yeah.
physically ill to just think about how good and how dominant and how just productive they have been for so long. They have been the standard of excellence for the last 16, like since he got to campus, like his second year, they have been the standard for excellence in college football. Like every single season has involved, you will have to get measured up against Alabama. Like there have been a few that they've slipped out, maybe they made the Sugar Bowl. They're like worst seasons this whole
Yeah.
time was like the Sugar Bowl.
That's insane because Tennessee fans would kill for a berth to the Sugar Bowl.
Oh, if the Hogs got to New Orleans for the Sugar, like we still talk about, that's been our best season in the last like 20 years. We went to the Sugar Bowl. It was awesome. And we were a good team, I think 10-2, but like still, that was it for us. That was awesome.
Yeah.
And so, maybe I think Tennessee probably a little bit elevated just as a program than Arkansas, but similar levels, comparable levels, especially with just like recent unproductivity, not
Yep.
unsuccess.
And success on the basketball court while football has
Yeah.
fallen.
But I think the two programs that should look forward to the 12-team playoff.
Yes.
Like, because I think it's a lot more likely Arkansas goes 10-2 than 11-1 or 12-0, just in reality.
When you're playing in the
it's a
SEC
lot more.
West,
It's a lot more likely for anyone to go to, like, that's just a lot more. It's easier to do that. But I think that it's more possible to see a like expectation to reach that kind of success. I think even like at both programs, or throw in Nebraska, like programs like that where it's like, no, I could see a run where we go 10-2 several years in a row or more. Make the playoff 4 out of 6 years, maybe. So, have a real good run of success. It's so like I would be just blind and even more dumb and inept than I am to say like, oh yeah, I could see Arkansas making the 14 playoff like several times. Yeah, could I see us making like a run and getting, and like, yeah, I could. If we win the West, we're probably going to make the playoff.
yeah.
And like I've seen us win the West before, and we probably need to win the SEC championship, but like I could see that happen, but I don't see us making it 2 out of 5 years, even, anything
It's
like
so
that.
hard.
Yeah.
So hard.
But I could definitely see, top 12, like we can get in there. I've watched us finish in the top 12 multiple years in my lifetime. So just something to think about that's coming down the pipeline. Like I guess that is some people's point where like, okay, take the emotion really out of this. Like Tennessee, Alabama, they're playing 6 versus 3, right? Whoever loses is honestly still fringe top 10, right around there. Yeah. I mean, because there's only so
9
many.
or 10, really.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it wouldn't really knock anyone out of that playoff picture at all. Now it doesn't even necessarily knock anyone out of the 14 playoff picture since they're both undefeated, but it still has a lot more major implications for like who's going to make that.
Right.
Anyway, just kind of I don't think it will to me, I don't think it dulls this game down at all if there's a 12-team playoff. I don't think it matters at all. Because it's not really, at the end of the day, like, why does this game matter so much? Why do you care so much? It's not because, oh, I could potentially make it's because it's Alabama and
Right.
it's Tennessee. Like, it matters because I want to beat them today. Like, I have an opportunity to line up against them and play them. I don't care. Like, the playoff is such a far away thought. Like, regardless, I don't care if there's 12, I don't care if it's 64 teams. Like, it is bitter because it is Alabama today.
Exactly right.
Like, we are getting lit because it is our rival today, and we get to play and bragging. Like, it don't matter. That stuff don't matter. It just it means, hey, the SEC, it just means more. Like,
It means more.
it literally, like, these games mean more than some championships.
They
Like,
honestly do.
honestly,
Like a Pac-12 championship.
what? No, seriously. Okay, I'm gonna pose a little question here. Would you trade a win? Like, okay, would you trade a win over Bama Saturday and then Bama ends up winning the national championship and Tennessee doesn't make the 14 playoff?
And what would happen if I don't make that trade? Does Tennessee make the 14 playoff?
Maybe.
Like,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'd take a guaranteed
Okay.
win over
They
Bama.
make the playoff, but don't win the national championship.
Yeah, I'm taking beating Bama and not making the playoff.
That's what I'm saying. It literally matters more sometimes. Like, now give me the guaranteed win over Bama because I will celebrate. Like, no, a win.
That experience would be crazy. Yeah,
a win over Bama Saturday will feel better than any of their national championships. Seriously, like, in all reality, it will feel better
just because of how painful it's been for so long.
Yeah. Not because the accomplishment's greater, just because of the journey you went through. You've been wandering in the desert for 18 years. And it's like the program you consider yourself to hold yourself against. Like, Tennessee holds themselves against Alabama. And it's like
Alabama, Georgia, and Florida. Those are the teams that
you've been below, like, and the other ones, maybe you've had a few moments, but yeah, you've been below them. But you've had a few moments at least. But Bama has been like, man, we are not on the same level as Bama. And to overcome them, Bama is the giant, bro. Bama is, like, to beat them. It'd be awesome. I think it'd be better to. I would pick a win over Bama.
Oh yeah, guaranteed win over Bama. You got to take it.
A win over Bama at home. Give me that. A win over Bama on the road is like crazy, and I will celebrate like there's no tomorrow. But it's different at the home stadium, I think, for that kind of win.
Yeah, it does. Especially when the fans are all going to be there, how packed Knoxville is going to be.
Now,
it's such a bigger celebration.
Mm-hmm. I will say there is something just incredible about ripping out someone's heart on the road.
Yes. It's a great feeling.
Being a visiting fan, going into somebody's building and taking that dub, hanging it on them, and you just snatch the breath and the power out of the building. It's pretty sweet. It's fun to experience when truly both, like, it's a good game or something and it's like a big game, important implications. People care about it. Like, the home team is just going crazy, and then you win and you're on the road and you're kind of it's a little few people. It's not quite as many as a home, but you're still just like, it's grittier. It's like, oh yeah, we just snatched the soul out of this football stadium and we're taking that home with us. That's right, baby.
Yep.
Came to your trap, take over the trap.
Walk in, they trap, take over, they trap.
Walk in, they trap. You know what trap I'm going to, baby? Rocky Mountains, Provo, Utah, BYU. That's right. We're coming to the trap. Okay. I'm coming. I'm going 1,500 miles.
That's going to be crazy.
To come to your trap and take over your trap, bro. We're going to dub on BYU so hard. And
after a loss to Notre Dame too.
Oh, I don't even think they see it coming. Hogs have lost 3 straight, and then we might hang 50 on them. We might hang 50 on them. We might hang 60 on them. I'm just saying, I think the tide's about to turn in this game. And maybe, look, I've been wrong before. I've been wrong several times. I probably like exuded hope that we might beat Mississippi State. I knew that was coming. Everyone, like, that loss was incoming.
Yeah.
We were about to
Mississippi
take that
State
L.
is a lot better than people think, too.
Mississippi State is pretty raw. Our offense is perfectly designed. It's like
It's a
he
Mike Leach
created
offense. I
he
mean,
created that offense to beat this Arkansas defense. Like not even any like it was like pretty good against all other defenses. It's like no, the 2022 Arkansas Razorback defense, back in like 30 years ago when he was crafting this scheme, this offense, he was like, "Nah, I'm gonna beat them. Like I'm gonna own them," and he did. He did. He put us in the blender. But I don't think BYU is not quite the offense that we faced this
no.
week. Anyway, going a long way out to Provo.
Oh, Seth, did we lose you? Oh, you're back, Seth.
Oh yeah. It got too hot, man. I got too hot about beating the Mormons, man. No, I'm excited to go out there. It's gonna be a fun trip, fun football guys trip. Just
It is
like
going to be a great
like
trip.
six or seven of us in my family going out there to just support the Hogs. Trip was made way in advance, and then obviously not how you want to roll into town off 3 straight L's, but that's when they needed us most. We didn't know it beforehand, but they needed us out there.
Yeah.
I'm
It
going
was
out
set in
there.
destiny. This is where the
It
Hogs
was.
turn it around. They finished
That's why they turned it
9-3.
around. Look, the roadmap is out there.
Oh, I think we lost Seth again.
Okay. I think I might have froze again.
You're
Oh,
back rocking and rolling.
okay. Quick roadmap to 9-3. All right. At BYU, win. Got to start there. Has to start there with a win. Okay. Now you're 4-3. You're above 500 bye week. Get healthy. Get your players back. Get right. Probably take a little extra coaching that week, a little extra preparation at Auburn. Pretty winnable game. Auburn's pretty
Very
bad.
winnable game. They're
Winnable
one of
game
the
on
worst
the
teams
road.
in the SEC this year.
Yeah, they are bad. Brian Harsin is on the outs. That could be the game that ends Brian Harsin. I'll say that. Like
I think he could get fired here in the next couple of weeks for sure.
that's what I'm saying. That's 3 weeks away. That sounds like perfect firing time. So we kick Brian Harsin out. Okay. Now 2 wins in a row. And we're fairly rested, feeling pretty good. Back at home versus Liberty. All right, let's get a little tune up going. That's why you play. You start the season with Cincinnati, so you might get a little easier game later on in the year. All right, Liberty comes to town. All respect to Liberty, they could give us some problems. I can't lie. Our defense is pretty bad, but
should be a win.
Take care. Yeah, should be a win. Then you got Ole Miss at home. Okay, tough one right now. Ole Miss looks pretty good. But let's say 4 weeks down the season, they've lost 2 out of 4. They're not looking quite as hot as they are right now. They're a good team. I'm still not fully sold. Vanderbilt did some good things against them.
Yeah, they did.
And I
Vanderbilt was leading at half, right?
Yep.
They're tied at half.
Yeah.
Leading.
And I just think on the road or at home, we should have a good chance to beat Ole Miss. I really think, we're fairly equal. I have they don't put fear in me. I'll say that. Like they might beat us, but the path to a W is imminent. Like it's a winnable game at home. All right, you win that one. Home against LSU. Obviously, they haven't shown to be too crazy dynamic on offense, which is our real issue. I think we'll take care of them. We'll score more points than them. Another win at home, and then you take on Missouri on the road. And Drinkwitz, let's kick him out of the conference as well. Go ahead and dub on their home turf. And close the season out 9-3. Like that doesn't sound that crazy. That's not really too hard to imagine.
Crazy.
No, not that crazy. I mean,
crazier things have happened.
Got to win the first one. And see, that's the fun. Like, I think Razorback fans are so entrapped, and probably a lot of fans are like so entrapped in this moment right now, and everything's so bad. And it's so bad. Like, oh, we're so terrible. And it's like, guys, I mean, yeah, we're not very good. Like, okay, we're not competing for a national championship. Like maybe some of us had hoped, but probably you were unrealistic to even really hope that. But like, why not win some games? Like if we won 5 out of the next 6, everyone's pumped. Like, yeah, we had that was fun. Yeah, ended up a pretty good season.
It never hurts you to win games in college football. That's for sure.
No. I mean, yeah, we may not be 11-1 competing for a natty, but you know what? We're 8-4. We're 9-3, going to a pretty good bowl. Hopefully win that one, have some momentum going to next year. I mean, that's fun. We're not a natty team, but hey, we could be a pretty good one who can cause, who can win some games down the stretch. So a lot of teams have that hope. Shout out Nebraska, still holding in there in the Big Ten West. I mean, win on the road, dude. They hadn't won back-to-back Big Ten games like the whole time Scott Frost was there. And that's like they play in the Big Ten West, bro. They're playing like Illinois, Indiana back-to-back, like Purdue, Rutgers back-to-back.
Yeah.
They're not playing Bama, Georgia back-to-back. Bama, I'm just saying. Sometimes
they should have somehow won back-to-back games.
Like you gotta beat Northwestern at home and then Rutgers on the road at some point.
Yeah.
If you want to have it, like obviously they didn't have any success. God, Frost did get canned. Somehow I have this ultimate belief and faith in Nebraska too. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's like, man, I just think they can pull it out. I always think they can. I think they've infected all the Nebraska fans' minds. Like they don't even recognize the like they just keep getting pained week after week after week. And they're just like, nope, I'm coming back. I believe the Huskers can win this one.
It's gonna be a win.
I want some more. They just know that winning is awesome. And so when you do feel it, it's like I'm ready to feel that. I'm gonna expect to win. And when I win, I'm gonna be happy. They're ready to just feel it again. But yeah, shout out to the boys in red. I gotta shout them out, even though Will's not on tonight.
Gotta give them at least a shout out.
The Skurs, man. We're all Skurs here.
We are.
So let's see what else. A
couple other SEC games that I wanted to talk about was Kentucky, South Carolina. South Carolina going on the road and whooping Mark Stoops and those Wildcats. Wasn't he saying they were a football school just a few months ago? I mean, how the tides have turned, Mr. Stoops.
Not many football schools. Not many football schools take fat L's to South Carolina at home. Yeah. And Arkansas is taking a few to South Carolina. Not many at home. That's a pretty bad look when you're the favorite. It's Shane Beamer.
They're playing Beamer ball.
You lost to Spencer Rattler. Uh-oh. Not good. You were playing your backup quarterback, but you saw Tennessee or Alabama got a win versus inferior team with their backup quarterback, barely, but still, like it's not really an excuse. I mean, Arkansas had to play with their backup quarterback this weekend too. It's not really an excuse. Like
injuries happen, you got to play through it. It happens to everybody. It
happens at every position, all the time. Like you gotta be prepared. You gotta have a game plan in place to still win a game, even if you don't have your number one guy in there. Not a good look, dude. Not a good look for Shane Beamer to be dancing in the visitors' locker room at your place, bro. Not in year 8. Not in year 9. I don't know how long he's been there. Not as Kentucky's. That's your winningest football coach in history is Mark Stoops.
That's not good.
I think Bear Bryant actually is number 1 still at Kentucky, which is hilarious.
40s and 50s,
but still, just Mark.
63 and 55.
Like that's why he will just never be fully taken seriously. Is like, yeah, you might win a few games a year, but like you're gonna lose 2 of those games a year where it's like you let a worse team theoretically come in and like beat you soundly. Shane Beamer had like just a cringy dude, man. I don't really feel the need to like dislike him or like him, but he just does some stuff that I'm like, man, that's corny.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I mean, I'm a fan, like obviously I'm a huge fan of Musselman, and they try to compare those two quite a bit. And it's like, dude, you can't compare that at all. Like you can't compare a coach who's been to 2 straight Elite Eights and like had the number 2 recruiting class in the nation with Shane Beamer, who's gone like 7-5 at South Carolina. Like, first of all, their on court success literally proves that it's different. Like one feels so weird and inauthentic and like manufactured to be like cool. And one is just like, no, this is this is just at my everyday content life. Like Musselman, and this is a weird, crazy tangent jump I've made here, but it's crazy to see Eric Musselman, head basketball coach at Arkansas, be the number 1 like interactions generator month after month after month. He is the leading head coach on like just well, on Twitter. We're all on Twitter. Obviously not an indication of the real world necessarily, but it is so interesting to see him generate the most buzz, most following week after. Like, he finds ways to be the topic of conversation all the time. Finds ways to interact with people and teams and everything. Anyway, just a crazy different vibe than I get from Shane Beamer, who's like, I got bothered. I got up and bothered by his post. You see his post game
I saw he was talking. It was like easy to change a climate, and he was kind of talking bad about Mark Stoops and Kentucky and some different things.
Yeah. I wish we we need to clip that thing in, because he says, so he's sitting there, and first of all, a funny concept for these, like, if I'm ever a coach, and I hope to be, there won't be anybody videoing my post game speech, like my like post game, like that is between me and my players, who we work together, we grinded together. There may be some moments of like, we can let the cameras in and most coaches do it. Vrabel does it, like, I love, to be honest, I love it as a fan, that they show me some of those moments, but like, I don't necessarily feel like I deserved it, except for Titans is a little different, I guess. Professional franchise, you got to think about like visibility and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Anyway, beyond the point. Shane Beamer goes, all right, guys, all right, settle down. Hey, keep it classy with the media today. Like, when we answer questions later, let's keep it classy. And then he immediately goes and pulls up a Mark Stoops quote from media days, like kind of sliding them, like just kind of sliding them. I need to pull up the
cringy
quote.
Move by Shane Beamer.
And it's just like, hey, we're going to keep it classy with the media. And then I'm going to do something just like, I'm going to hold a grudge from like 8 months ago that he said in the media. That's like at media days. Like, it's just, he contradicts himself. It's just it's like hypocritical too. It's like, hey, keep it classy with the media. Now I'm going to trash on Mark Stoops. Like, I know that there's a camera in my face. Like, I know that, so this is going to get out there. Like, coaches aren't blind to the fact that what they do in a post game, like, speech to their players is going to be broadcast over all of social media and everything. He knows that that's about to get put on blast, and he intentionally did it. Just not a class. Like, hey, players, y'all keep it classy. I'm gonna say some disrespectful stuff.
Complete idiot here.
Yeah. Oh, maybe, you know what? All right, a little devil's advocate here. Maybe that's a great way for his players to act class. Like, if I act like a clown,
they'll look classy.
They'll look classy. I think maybe I'm turning on Shane Beamer. Maybe he's a genius.
Yeah, you didn't think about that play. Maybe
I did not. Smart. He's next level. Unfortunately, I highly doubt it, though. Don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so at all.
I'm gonna have to side with that. He didn't think ahead like that.
Well, not good news for Kentucky. If you want to be a serious player, you can't lose to South Carolina at home. Not the South Carolina teams.
No.
Yeah, I mean, they're out of it now, right? I mean, they're out.
Yeah, 4-2. They're crumbling here a little bit.
Yeah.
Ole Miss loss was fine. But yeah, you can't lose to South Carolina like that.
That's another time where it's like, dude, you can't let last week beat you. You lost a tough game at Ole Miss. You can't like let that linger and take an L to South Carolina. Just not good. Not good. But what's going to happen? I mean, nothing's going to happen. Like, Mark Stoops isn't on the hot seat.
No,
he's just like that's crazy. I mean, it's not crazy because, I mean, he probably deserves not to be on the hot seat after one loss. But it's like crazy that we couldn't even really imagine. Like, they would have to get so bad.
They would have to have a 4-3 win season for
multiple. Dude.
Oh, yeah, to get back on the hot seat. It takes one or two of those to get back on the hot seat. And then maybe if he has another one, he's canned. But it's going to take 3 terrible seasons to get him canned.
He's so good. That's like, he is the so Jimbo might have the guaranteed money and like all that kind of stuff, but he's Stoops has easily got to be the most comfortable coach in the SEC.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Saban really is the most comfortable, I guess, because
he just knows he's going to win. I mean,
yeah, but he's not even comfortable because he's Saban. Like, I don't think he's ever been comfortable.
Right.
I think he actually is perpetually uncomfortable. And that's what kind of makes him great. That's sick. He's a sicko.
Yeah, he's
crazy.
But he's a sicko that wins.
Oh, watching him on the other sideline just beats me down. Like knowing he's proud on the other sideline, I just know I'm about to catch an L. And it's like he doesn't have anything to do with it, but he has everything to do with it. Oh, he's not technically on the field beating me, but it's just he's so deep in my head. It's tough. It's tough out here in the SEC West.
It's tough in the SEC West playing with Saban, man.
I think I echo and Tennessee feels this too because they play him every year. But it's like a dark hole on the schedule. It comes out and it's like, all right, when am I taking my L to Bama?
Yep.
Like, all right, bring it. All right, come on, let's go ahead. Can we just forfeit that game? Like, not only do we take an L, our players get hurt, our best quarterback gets a concussion. Like, can we at least just take a loss and not hurt our players too? Sad, man. Not this weekend, though. Not this weekend. The Vols will stand tall for all of us.
I pray to God. We
stand tall for us all.
But why don't we talk a little Titans football? We've covered a lot of the SEC here, but we have another team in Tennessee that got a big win. Another road win for a Tennessee team here. Another tough, gritty road win.
It's two road NFL wins already.
Yep.
And that's nothing to laugh about. That's nothing to sneeze at.
3-2. Hey, with how the season started, 3-2 is pretty damn good right now.
3-2 is looking nice, bro.
Top of the division.
And going into a bye, like, got to get some guys healthy.
Got to get the defense healthy for sure.
Yeah.
We're hurting in the secondary,
dude,
linebacker position.
There has got to be something to our training staff. Like, we get hurt.
On pace to break the record again for most players to play on an NFL roster.
We get hurt at an abnormal rate.
At a record-breaking rate.
Year after year.
Yeah, back-to-back seasons.
But, what I think maybe, and this is next level too, but I think the Titans are more likely to be going next level than Shane Beamer. Yeah. I think Vrabel is definitely.
Vrabel's a little bit smarter than Shane Beamer, I think.
I think maybe it's kind of a freshness thing for the playoffs. It's like, hey, we're gonna have a bunch of guys kind of miss time. It's gonna make us practice, overcoming some obstacles. We're gonna keep, almost every starter is gonna miss like at least 4 games at some point.
Feels like it.
So miss a couple games, get your health right. That way when it comes to playoff time, we're pretty healthy. And instead of everybody else who's played 16 or 17 games, our guys have only played like 13, but they're all kind of ready. They're all willing. They've all played plenty to, know how to play together. We're still a good team, and we're a little healthier. We're a little fresher. I don't think that's what's going on. I wish I could say that's definitely what we're doing, but don't feel like that is what's happening there.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you on that. But I mean, in terms, we're talking the AFC South right now. I'm liking where we're sitting.
You got to like where we're sitting. We're the best
Jags
team.
Take a loss, they fall a little bit. Colts.
No, the Jags don't just take a loss, bro. The Jags take a home loss to the Texans.
Yeah, a terrible loss. The Texans aren't any good. The Colts looked horrible in a game where there wasn't a single touchdown, a 12-9 overtime victory.
Shout out them for winning on the road.
Yeah, I mean, it was a gritty win, but
that one feels a little less.
Ugly game.
That one even feels a little less like a satisfying win than like the Titans have had some close wins on the road, but like that one was so ugly. It was not like if somehow there is a lesser win in the NFL, I've never really seen it. Like a less inspiring win. Like at least in most of these other games,
they look terrible.
They
terrible.
They didn't look.
There was fumbles, sacks. I mean, they looked bad in all facets of the game. The Broncos just looked a little bit worse.
Yeah. That was a pretty brutal one to watch, which is awesome. I love that about.
I love a good defensive.
I love that.
Out. Yeah.
I love where just no one can quite put it together. You thought someone would probably put it together at someone was going to score a touch, but it didn't happen. You don't see that very often. Like that's pretty wild for that to happen in a true NFL football game. But yeah, the division is just, I think it might be think it might be even just a hair better than I thought it was. But
A
that's
little
because
bit.
I thought it was so. No, it's bad. It really is bad,
It's
isn't
pretty
it?
bad,
It's
but I
pretty
mean, I
bad.
was thinking the Titans were worse than they were. So I'm
Yeah.
going to go ahead and say the AFC South is a hair better than I thought it was at the beginning of
Okay.
the season.
All right. We'll like that. It's a hair better than we thought it was. I think the Titans are the reason it is better than I thought it was.
Yeah.
Because at one point, 2 games in, I thought we might. I mean, I definitely didn't rule out the fact that we could still be pretty good because Vrabel has shown he has demonstrated the fact that, like, come playoff time, come the later weeks of the season, we will be playing pretty good. But definitely didn't see us. I knew that these were some winnable games that we were going into, just because the Colts were. I mean, let's be honest, the Colts are not very good. Winning the Raiders game at home, and I would need to
That was
see
tough.
kind of what are the Raiders doing right now.
I mean, they're not looking great, but they did they are playing right now. They're down 1 against the Chiefs. They started off 0-3, got a win last week. I'm trying to remember who they beat, but I can't exactly remember. But hey, they're hanging with Kansas City right
Well, they
now.
beat the Broncos.
Yeah, that's okay. They did beat the Broncos. That's correct. But yeah, they're down 1 in the fourth quarter in Kansas City. So I mean, obviously the Raiders they play every team pretty tough.
Yeah. So winning that one, see, that's how it works, man. We talk about Uncle Mo, a little momentum. You win one, and then it suddenly becomes easier to win that next one. You get off the hump, you beat a team at home, and then you take it on the road and beat 2 bad teams, but teams you would lose to if you didn't make some plays. Like, if you didn't go out there and make some plays, you'll get beat in the NFL. It's just the nature of it. There are very few teams ever that it's truly so bad that if you do not show up at all, they won't beat you. And even our Giants loss looks, I mean, at least a little bit better.
Yeah,
Like, the
the
Giants look
NFC
pretty
East
good.
is incredible right now. The Eagles are 5-0. The Giants are 4-1. The Cowboys are 4-1. The Commanders obviously don't look great, but those top 3 teams are all playoff teams right now. I mean,
Yeah,
that division is looking pretty good, surprisingly.
yeah. But the Commanders are not. They're not very good. But even also, you know what? I'm gonna give a little props. Carson Wentz, pretty good game. Pretty good game. Played pretty well
Played pretty well
until he made the most game ending. Like, it's hard to make. It is hard to make plays that are more critically bad than Carson Wentz has been capable of making the last several years. Like, he is so good, and this might have even been his most magnificent one yet. Truly waited all the way till the very end of, like, played a great game. You almost forget that he's Carson Wentz. Like, you almost, and then the very last play of the game just makes a critical mistake. Like,
horrible interception.
not just a bad mistake. Like, one of the worst, just in that moment, the worst play ever. Like, you don't get many of those opportunities. Like, the Russell Wilson play on the Super Bowl gets a lot of play, and rightfully so. But Malcolm Butler made a pretty good play
Yeah,
on
that
that
was
ball.
an amazing play.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz, I mean, that was just a ball that is going to get intercepted 99 out of 100 times.
It was beautiful. I mean, it made me so happy. It was one of those, like, get up out of your seat, run around a
Oh,
little
yeah.
bit.
Because I thought
Like,
after Christian Fulton made that pass interference play in the end zone, I was like, well, damn, that was a fun
I
game. But this
know.
is it.
I know, and it was like, this is going to be a brutal. I mean, I knew we might could hold them out, but I was like, this loss is going to be so tough because it's almost like the Giants one where it's like, we really should have won the game. We're in control the whole time, and then all of a sudden the team scores with, like, so little time on the clock, and then it's kind of like, well, shoot, that's kind of, well, I guess the Giants game we even drove down. I kind of forgot about that. I mean,
Yeah, Randy missed a field goal.
We're a Randy kick away from being 4-1 right now. With our only loss being at Buffalo, I mean, they are a juggernaut, and that was a bad, like,
That was
some
just an anomaly type of game.
yeah, some bad combined factors in week 2 on the road on Monday night in Buffalo. Yeah, we lost. We got our butts handed to us. But you know what? I
17-game
think
season.
Vrabel, if we go back there in the playoffs, like, I'll take my chances. I mean, yeah, they're good, but like, I don't know. Anything can happen if it's cold. Jeff Simmons gets hot. Like,
Yeah, if he has 3.5 sacks in the game, and
Derrick Henry can control the ball, and some
Derek.
crazy
Speaking of Derrick Henry, boy, he looked back.
he looked as good as I have seen him since he got hurt. That was
Yeah, agreed.
in all. He looked awesome. He was running with so much fluidity. Like he finally got a
Making the
little
right
open
cuts.
space. He was getting extra yards. Like those type of runs where it's like, yeah, he didn't break an 80-yarder yet, but he will. He'll bust another one of those.
Yeah,
But it
and
was
he
like
had a couple of those 20, like that 22
yeah,
yard touchdown,
yeah,
or
he had a couple like this could have been a 6-yard carry, but he made it a 24-yard carry, or he made it an 18-yard carry. Like those are what our offense needs to like really be, effective. It's like, no, he's taking these into the next level. And yeah, I think he will break like that is kind of his signature, like long runs, which is awesome because when he really gets loose, it's so awesome to watch. And I think he's got a few of those in him. This week, I'm glad you brought that up because man, did he look? He looked really good, and he looked like he was capable of getting more carries. Like he didn't.
yeah, he had what 20 carries in the first half, just about.
Yeah, yeah. So it was awesome. Good to see him just galloping out there again. Really getting to see those long strides going for the first time in a while. I feel like he's just kind of been held up at the line, and part of that's our offensive line play has been pretty subpar. So maybe a little bit of testament to them getting things figured out a little bit, but
Hopefully,
awesome,
because they
just
haven't looked.
awesome to watch him run out there. Um, we had that awesome bomb to Westbrook Ikine. That was sweet. Tannehill let that one rip. I wish
Yeah,
we threw more long passes. I think that's a
how
part
we
of the
just don't have the
offense.
time with our offensive line right now.
Yeah, but we can make the time. We'll find the time. Our offense, like back when Artie Smith was at the sticks, man, we were
We
throwing
were
two
clicking.
two or three deep balls a game. Whereas like, we're throwing a bomb. And I wish we did that. Maybe I don't know. You got deep, like you got deep threats. And I know Traylon's hurt right now, but like give him a few chances long to make a play. Like that literally is why he is elevated as in my mind, a great receiver is because of his ability to make a play on the ball and to just go snag something. Like that's what makes like think about a guy like DeAndre Hopkins. Like you just got to give him several shots a game to like be elite. Like, and I know we don't have a DeAndre Hopkins on our team. I'm not saying that, but it's like you gotta like at least go up. You have a few guys on your team. You can say go make a play, like go snag this ball. I think Traylon really is your best guy on the team of being like, no, just put it around him and go make a play. Fight through some stuff, and that's why I get a little frustrated with how they use him in the offense. I don't think they fully unleashed that yet. I don't think Tannehill fully has the trust to like throw into pretty tight coverage with him, because I think that's where you get the truly elite receivers. Is like, look, he's covered, but like I still think he's going to
Let
make
him
the
make a
play.
play.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's going to make the play, and so I think that'll come. Like Robert Woods has been coming on a little bit, doing some
yeah,
good
he's
things, but
played a lot better.
he's more kind of get open with some technical routes. I feel that's kind of how I feel like
Yeah,
he plays. Like
he's not
he's
really
not,
a speedster. He's not really a big end zone target. He's a guy
yeah,
who's going to dice you up in the middle of the field, get open,
yeah,
get under a zone or something like that, and just make a big catch.
yeah. So anyway, I don't. I wonder who they kind of will see who kind of keeps developing in that offense. Is we're still so early in the season, and it's good to see them kind of show some resiliency and make some big plays. But at the same time, I mean, I know the defense made a great play on the one, but they did allow like a big drive there. So maybe need to shore some things up. Like our defense can play a lot better, but so can most people. So I'm pretty happy with where we're at. We haven't. I don't think we've scored a point in the fourth quarter.
We scored. Yeah, I don't think any points. We have what 14 in the second half through 5 games. That's pretty bad. That's
That's
really
pretty bad, and it's almost so bad that it's good. If that
that we
makes
can win
sense.
games with that
Yeah,
happening.
it's like that is so bad that it's almost crazy that you've won you know 3 out of 5 games.
I mean, I don't know how we've been doing it, but it's been working. So
Yeah.
we're gonna have
You
to
got to
keep
think they'll
squeaking out
start
games.
scoring a little bit in the second. Like
Yeah,
it'll
it'll
average
have to
out a
break.
little bit.
No, it'll come back to where it is supposed to be. And I think as it gets a little colder, Derrick Henry's runs start hitting a little bit harder. We get Treylon Burks back once he gets healthy. And we really just hit our groove in the middle of the season. That's going to change.
Yeah, that'd be good. It would be nice, it would be nice to hit a better groove on offense. I'll say that. Like just where you can flow a few possessions in a row and feel like you're going to have a chance to score. Like we just do too many. We have too many negative stuff still going on. I feel like that really kind of brings us back a little bit. That kills drives and stuff like that. We'll get sacked. We'll have 3 and outs. That it's just like, dude, that like, what was that even trying to be? Like, what was that even trying to be? But I think winning in the NFL is awesome.
It is.
Like we just got to stack some. We got to stack some so we know what we got to do in the last like 6 weeks of the season. And hopefully that means we got to, go 500 in the last 6 weeks to get in the playoffs. I mean, obviously you want to go better than that to feel like you've got a chance to win the playoffs. But I'm just saying you want to put yourself in a position where, you control your own destiny with like 6 weeks to go. Right. I think that's a pretty fair thing to say. It's like, and you got to think the Titans are going to be in that kind of position. They got a nice little stretch coming up here that they really got to capitalize on because I think you got to buy then the Colts at home, then the Texans. So if you can win those two, I mean, which you should off a bye, like those teams are teams you should beat. Then you're sitting at 5-2 and things are looking pretty good because you probably got a little leg up on the division for sure. And I don't know, just they're in a good spot. They're in a good spot to be in a good spot. How's that?
That's a good way to put it. I mean, no wins are easy in the NFL. I think that can't be stated enough. So the fact that we have a winning record right now, I am completely A-okay with where the Titans are.
Yeah, we haven't lost in like a month. It's awesome.
Vrabel, when you got him at the helm, you got Derrick Henry at the helm, just like Aaron Rodgers was saying the other week. The season ain't over. They still have Derrick Henry. They still have Mike Vrabel. He's still coaching. We're going to be okay. We're going to be able to fight through adversity. We're going to get some guys healthy on the defense. Hopefully that tightens things up in the secondary once we get Molden back, once we get Zach Cunningham back. Well, the defense will start clicking a little bit better. And then once the offense gets into its groove, hey, this team has a chance to make a run. You never know.
Yep.
You never know.
You just got to put yourself in position. And all you can do now is put yourself in position to be in position. So win the AFC South. That's really got to be the goal. That's really got to be the goal. If other things come, that's awesome. But win the AFC South and you'll at least host a playoff game. Only one team gets a bye these days. Like, it's hard to come by. It's hard and that's why it sucked so much last year when the Titans blew it. But that's forgotten at this point. We're already 5 weeks deep. It's not like you're not winning the 1 seed this year. Your team, I mean, realistically, we're not probably good enough to win the 1 seed this year. That doesn't mean
Kansas City.
That doesn't mean, let's host the first playoff game and then see what happens. Like, you still gotta want to host a playoff game. Like, win the division and you'll get that. So that's the goal, and it's looking more attainable kind of by the day. I think that Jacksonville, Jacksonville, I never saw them as like a super big threat, just because they are Jacksonville, like at the end of the day. But it is kind of good to see them be level out a little bit and take an L to a pretty bad Texans team.
Yeah.
Who didn't? It's not like they suddenly, like, that's the even thing too. It's not like the Texans suddenly came out and scored 40 points. It was like, yeah, you lost. I don't even know what the final score was.
I think it was also one of those.
I think it was like 13-6 or something.
Yeah, like something 13-6. Yeah, it was a terrible low scoring game. Yeah. But yeah, the Texans pulled it out, got their first win of the season, giving the Jags another L, now to 2-3.
You know that
them down.
Jags have lost to the Texans like 9 times in a row.
Have they really?
Yeah.
Golly, and the Texans have not been that good either the past couple of years either.
No, the Texans have been bad. The Texans have had some really bad teams too. So, not good. I mean, There was a time when Andrew Luck had beat us 11 straight times, and it made me want to cry.
Yeah.
Talk about Saban. Somehow Andrew Luck, he's one of the only people to own me as much as Saban does currently.
Never lost the Titans. Never
Brutal.
lost the Titans. That's
I
not a fun thing to say.
I hold it to be true to this day that that's one of the top 10 days of my life was when he retired. Like I've never, it was freedom. I felt
Yeah, so
freedom.
we finally can win the division. We finally can get the
And we
monkey off
pretty
our
much
back.
have.
Yeah.
Pretty much since he retired, we've won the division. All but I think maybe probably the first year he didn't play, maybe. I think the Texans, but we even made the playoffs.
But then 2019, 2020, 2021, boom, 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 3 back-to-back.
No, we've only got 2 back-to-back.
Oh, wait, no, yeah, because 2019, it was the Texans were 9-7 as well, right? And they held the tiebreaker. Yeah. It was something, but we made the AFC Championship, so screw them.
Yeah, true. I would think people would consider us the best team in the AFC South that year. We've pretty much been the best team since then. We have kind of that's been the awesome part about Vrabel is, man, in the division we have pretty much taken care of business. Like we have established ourselves as top, like the top of the division, which is pretty sweet.
It's nice to be there.
It feels good. Got to keep that up. Bye week this week, yeah, feels nice. Everybody can kind of exhale, like I feel like people were like just freaked out when we were 0-2, just freaked out, like, oh, and now you get it back and it's like, okay, now we're 3-2, yeah, probably would rather be 4-1 or 5-0, but like we're in a good spot, man. We're in a really good spot and we're trending upwards, so can't be too mad. Let's get healthy. Let's enjoy everybody else playing this week, and we'll get back after it against the Colts.
Yeah, I'm excited about it, but I know one fan base that is not very excited with how things are going for them, and that's the breaking news of the Carolina Panthers firing Matt Rule, $40 million buyout.
That's a big NFL buyout.
I was surprised. He got paid $40 million. That was pretty crazy to me. But yeah, after the 1-4 start, Baker experiment has gone completely wrong so far. Carolina Panthers had to cut ties.
Yeah. Tough for Carolina. Been coming for a while, probably. Matt Rule, I guess I still was never really sure why he was so highly thought after, like, to be a 7-year contract in the NFL kind of guy. He was
proven NFL experience.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he did good things in college, pretty good things. Yeah, but like Baylor's shown the ability to kind of be consistent. Yeah, they've had several coaches in the past 10 years, 15 years that have been pretty successful. So, yeah, I mean, giving that guy so much guaranteed money is a little ridiculous. Like, I think that is kind of the crazy thing. And someone kind of mentioned this, I don't know, probably on Twitter or something, but like, why do these coaches get such crazy guaranteed money when like, players don't get guaranteed money or anything? Like the coach, yeah, maybe Bill Belichick, he's been around a while, but most coaches aren't that proven when you get hired. Like, not that proven in the NFL at winning games. So like, why give crazy guaranteed contracts to a coach? Just kind of crazy money. I mean, all right. Yeah, I got a random question here. And I was thinking about today because I sold a couple golf cars, a couple even cheap golf cars, but they paid in cash. Both people paid in cash, like within 30 minutes of each other. And so I had about $6,500 in my hand, cash, $100 bills, all of it. And I was like, that's interesting. Like, we talk about a $40 million man. He's probably not holding 40 mil in his hand, although that'd be sick. Like, what's actually the most cash you physically held in your hand, like, ever?
That I have?
Yeah.
It was about $8,000 after I sold my car.
There you go.
Straight cash for it, $8,000.
Yeah.
And that felt real good holding that in my hand.
That is that's what I said. I don't know if there may have been a time maybe that I had a little more cash in my hand, but I can think of some bigger checks I held in my hand, like, that I yeah, like when I bought a car or something, I probably had a little bigger, but I can't remember like physical cash in hand. Yeah, like 6,500 about on that. It was like, wow, that's a considerable chunk of change that I just
Yeah.
got in my hand at the moment. Like, kind of crazy. So Matt Rule going to be holding a lot of cheddar, a lot
Yeah, I
of
mean, at
cheddar.
least half of it, because I'm sure he's got to pay taxes and
How
such.
does tax work on that? I guess, yeah, it is just lump sum tax. Like,
Yeah, lump sum.
how is that though? Is he getting paid payments? Are they
I'm
like,
not
what's,
exactly sure. I'm sure it kind of depends on what his contract looked like. Because I would assume with as big of a business as the NFL is and how many lawyers and people are involved, each contract has different clauses, different things, whatever. So, but I'm sure he's at least getting 20, 25 million. I
if I
mean,
didn't,
as a,
if I didn't, if I didn't have quite as much pride, I would say my dream would be to get fired from a guaranteed money job like that.
it'd be
Like, no,
awesome.
I want to win a national championship at Arkansas, and then I want to take the biggest guaranteed contract of all time at like
And just sit on my ass.
Texas and not do anything. Screw Texas over. Take the lump sum and run. Like set up like Jimbo Fisher. I mean, the ultimate con man. He set up $100 million. He's literally kind of almost begging them to like fire him at this point, just like being bad at offense. He's just like, all right, I dare you guys to fire me.
I
Like, I
dare you.
want that to
Give me
happen.
the
I
90 million.
I dare you. You owe me $90 million. I dare you to fire me. Like, all he's got to do is make sure he doesn't get fired with cause other than sucking at football. Like, you just can't do.
Don't
I
do
would be
anything
the
shady and he's good. But
yeah. I would
college
be.
football programs are good at kind of stirring things up and finding because it seems like
They
every
are
college coach
good.
has a little skeleton in their closet at
Oh,
least.
absolutely. Well, I mean, we talked about it with Scott Frost recently. Like, all of a sudden he gets fired, and it's he's
He had
having, he's
drinking problems and
yeah
partying
stuff,
and
yeah stuff like that. It's like, oh, like crazy how that comes up. Yeah, it's like, hey, Jimbo Fisher, he's actually had a big gambling problem.
yeah.
Um,
Things always seem to kind of sneak out once a guy gets fired or is on the hot seat. Like Harsin last year, obviously he was doing some shady stuff, but it almost seems like a lot of that was brought on to kind of get him out of town.
oh, it definitely seemed like it was dug up. I still was that story. Was it true?
I think some of it was a little exaggerated. Some kind of something had to go on with some trainers or like assistant coaches
Well,
or
it was kind
whatever.
of crazy how that girl had come from,
Yeah,
like,
Boise
it did.
State to
Yeah.
follow him to Auburn. Something weird was going on there for sure.
And that's probably unfortunate that we just assume because, like, you know, it's a man and a woman, and she's fairly attractive, and he's, a man, that we assume that like something shady had to happen for them. But it is kind of weird. Like, that's a huge move in just your life to like go from Idaho to Auburn.
Right.
Like, unless like you're not super tied to Bryant, like just go work at keep working at Boise State for a different coach, or like, I don't know. It did seem odd that that's like, okay, I could see your defensive coordinator going with you.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
That makes sense.
yeah, but not this fairly random,
Like Water Girl or something.
like girl who's 2 years out of college. Like, it just seems interesting that you would, not that you would even recommend her for a good job or something, not that you would even try to get her on but like that she would come with the pro, like, just is interesting. It's just interesting.
It's
And I
interesting.
think we automatically make the assumption because it's easy to assume that. But, who really knows the full story? But it's likely something.
Something had to have happened. I would
Is
imagine.
she still on? Is she still there?
I don't know.
Got
I
to.
feel like that
She's
story kind of died down really quickly.
Yeah, because they kept Harson on, I think.
And he has a wife, doesn't he?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Family man, bro. Like, Brian Harson is a family man. That's just like, it makes it worse. Like a guy like Hugh Freeze doing all that, like when all that stuff went down with him, it was just more embarrassing because he had been so vocal, like so vocal about like positivity, his Christian faith and all his values and his morals and all this kind of stuff. You can't if you're gonna bolster that, which I applaud. I like, yeah, I like more people to be vocal about their faith and like, but you can't be doing that stuff. Like
Right. You got to walk the walk if you're going to talk the talk.
if you're not going to say anything, if you're not going to act like you're a good role model, and stuff goes down, it's different. But when you pride yourself on being a family man, a man of faith, then you can't.
Well, I think we're about out of time here, Seth. But if you listeners remember, we mentioned something about a question coming out of left field. Something not sports related, but something that's it's kind of getting that time of year where Southern homegrown cooking, Thanksgiving, Christmas, some really great meals are coming up. I wanted to give a little sneak peek into some food here. Seth, why don't you kick it off? This was your idea. What has been your favorite meal this past week that you have gotten to have? Maybe favorite meal or favorite couple of meals?
Yeah, I think it's a good gauge on how life's going. What's popping. This week was pretty fair weather. Nothing too crazy. Honestly, I need to get on top of my diet a little bit more. Not a place where I'm just getting into a new house, new eating pattern, all this kind of stuff, new job, new just routine. I've been living a similar routine the last couple of years, and now I'm totally switched up into like different time schedule, different things I got to do, different responsibilities. But I would say this past week I ate a little place in Little Rock, Chowbacci, something like that. I don't know. For Christina, my girlfriend's a little birthday celebration. So
Here we go.
So I ate a little. Actually, I ordered gumbo, to be quite honest, because it's on the menu, and so I had to get some of that. Really good, really good. Not true, like it's not like I would have got in the French Quarter. Nothing's gonna quite be like that, but it was pretty good. But really, the calamari that we had a little bit before.
A little seafood.
Yeah, so we had a little bit of that. Just really good. The company I was with was really nice too. So made
That
for a
makes the
nice
meal.
meal. That does make for a good meal. But yeah, that was probably my best of the week. What we had another little app there at the place.
Right as Seth was saying his
Good
appetizer.
times. Yeah.
We missed that last appetizer, Seth. You
a little bruschetta. So some
Italian mix
some real good shareables with a good group of people.
Very
nice. Very nice. How about yourself, my friend?
So I'm going to paint a little picture here. It's going to include two different places, but it was really a whole night together. So we were over in East Nashville at a place called 210 Jack. It's a ramen place. I've never been there before. I've never had like fancy ramen before, but we did get some apps. We had the Japanese fried chicken, the JFC,
the JFC,
which rivaled the Colonel, and then had some Brussels sprouts that were cooked up real nice. Had this good sauce. Gotta love some good Brussels sprouts as an appetizer. And then we got some ramen. I got these like pork meatballs, a soft boiled egg in my ramen as well, with some miso paste. So it was real nice and spicy. Got the juices flowing. But to cool those spices off, we went to a nice little spot called Jenny's Ice Cream after and closed the night out with not a double scoop, a triple scoop cone.
Wow.
So I had cookies and cream, gooey butter cake, and the Brambleberry Crunch.
Brambleberry crisp, bro. It's one of the greatest flavors on this earth.
It was amazing. I mean, it was a flavor explosion in my mouth after really turning up the heat a little bit with my ramen. Had to cool it down with some nice Jenny's ice cream.
What a perfect combo there.
And they're right next to each other. We walked over to Jenny's. It was a nice, nice
Jenny's
night.
is always such a good nightcap. Like, I mean, ice cream in general, but Jenny's is next. Jenny's is so good. Oh, Jenny's is so good. I need some of that. I need to get back there and get me some of that. That's something I definitely miss in the city.
I doubt if you're in Nashville, you guys have missed out on Jenny's. But if you haven't been to Jenny's and you live in Nashville, go get some
And
ASAP.
go get the Brambleberry crisp. If you've never
Yeah,
eaten that one, you need to try that ice cream flavor. That's one
it's
of the more
so good.
unique and delicious ice cream flavors I've ever had.
Yeah,
Their
agreed.
strawberry is elite. I'm a strawberry guy, so when they have the strawberry buttermilk in the summer, oh, nothing
Oh,
like it.
a nice summer ice cream cone. That just
It
hits right.
does. It hits very good, very good. So very nice.
Yeah, so a great meal, a great couple of meals to close out the episode.
Look
What
forward to next week. Oh, so I am traveling to Provo. I'm going out to Mormon land. Going to I hope so. We're going to a little Brazilian steakhouse.
Oh,
So
unlimited meat.
this trip has been planned for a while. So me and Zane for I think maybe Father's Day, no, I think it was my dad's birthday. So no, I don't know. It was probably Father's Day. That's about right. We knew we were going to this Provo game, so we got him a little, you know, a big old gift card to go to this. We know so we could all go to this Brazilian steakhouse. So on Friday night before we feast on the Cougars, we're gonna go have an absolute Brazilian steakhouse throwdown out in Utah after a big day exploring the Rockies.
That's gonna
It's
be
gonna be it's
insane.
gonna be next level. So
That's
while the Vols are taking over the college football world by storm on Saturday, I'll be out holding it down for the Razorbacks in Provo, Utah,
I love
making
it.
noise.
Making noise for the boys. I'm excited about that. But
They lose, I'm converting to Mormonism.
all right, I'm holding you to that. That has been stamped in the Pay Dirt Book of History, um, alongside our amazing parlay of the Huskers,
Oh, it's already
Hogs,
dead.
and Vols.
It didn't even make it halfway.
Plus games.
I owe Will
That dream is dead,
$15 for that.
unfortunately. Um,
I'll make it again next year. Let's just
yeah,
keep that one rolling.
we'll have to keep that one rolling. I mean, we'd have to do it 3,000 times and it not hit to not get the payout. So
It's the long game, baby. We're
it's the
playing the
long
long
game.
game.
It's the long game, but hell of an episode. Again, this is Pay Dirt Sports, part of the Six Pack Coverage Network. Don't forget to check out Six Pack Coverage at Six Pack Coverage on Instagram and Twitter. They also have a YouTube channel where you can catch the live version of these podcasts. All kinds of different things from sports, entertainment, culture to food, just like we were talking about. So all kinds of good stuff there. Don't forget to check out the Pay Dirt socials at paydirt_sports for Twitter, at paydirt sports for Instagram, and then paydirtsports.blog if you want to go check out the website. But that is all we got for today. Great episode. Missing Dunny, but hey, we didn't skip a beat. Absolutely crushed this pod. Glad to be back, and we will see you guys next time. Peace.